Boy, I've been waiting to do this one for a couple days since there were some hearings that came out in front of Congress a couple days ago. This is May 15th. I think it was May 13th. So here we go again. Insurance companies have been busted for committing fraud against homeowners. Again. Delayed payments, lowball payments, changing estimates by lowering amounts, and wrongfully denying people's claims. My name is Mike Keeler. I'm a licensed public adjuster in the state of Florida. All right, so we're going to take a look at this video. This is one of several that I want to show you. And this is Josh Hawley of Missouri. Okay. He goes through some of this stuff.
Have devastated communities across our country. The state of Missouri ripped across the state, leaving homes damaged, in some cases leaving families without loved ones. Hurricanes Milton and Helene have cut a brutal path through the southeast. In California, wildfires have burned entire communities to the ground. And these disasters have done more than cause property damage, though that is quite significant. They have destroyed the lives of people. Where do Americans turn after catastrophes? The answer is they turn to their insurance companies. And unfortunately, time after time, they find when disaster strikes in their moment of utmost need, the insurance companies come back to them and they delay and they deny, and at the end of the day they just won't pay what is due. It is a deliberate strategy to maximize profits.
The cost to restore our home was far beyond Allstate's offer.
My insurer denied coverage for the worst damage to my home. Despite being fully insured, it took me 7 years to rebuild and get back home.
228 days after the storm, our home remains untouched with no progress being made. My wife, who was 3 months pregnant at the time of the storm, gave birth to our daughter 2.5 months ago. We need State Farm to give us our life back.
They told you to alter your findings, they push down the estimate lower and lower and lower. That you saw this happen over and over and over.
Yes, sir. Yeah, for years I've seen this trend.
So they're retaliating against you.
Yes, sir.
Because you testified as to what happened.
Yeah, because I was going to testify. Yes, sir.
You start to prepare an estimate for a full replacement, but then you were told by the higher ups, no, we're not going to do a full replacement. Only do an assessment for a partial replacement. And then before you can even complete your work, you're taken off the case. Is that right?
Yes.
For employees or who raise objections to what you're doing, to the fraud that you're engaged in, would you ever retaliate?
It's a hypothetical question, but the answer
it's not hypothetical, but go ahead. What's the answer?
The answer would be, of course not.
Well, we just heard sworn testimony from Mr. Milliken that you have retaliated against him, that he has been informed by Allstate that he is not going to be doing any further work. I see your suits behind you are shaking your heads. No. You think Allstate handled it just fine?
No, I stated in my statement that I regret that Ms. McGall is unhappy with the...
Yeah, well, that's like saying, I'm sorry you're unhappy, right? That's, I apologize, but I don't apologize.
We paid Ms. McGall's claim.
No, you didn't. You have given her a paltry sum. Your own adjusters, you said in your testimony just a second ago, you sent out an adjuster. In fact, you sent out 3. And 2 of those adjusters testified just now under oath that your company ordered them to alter their reports against their will, contrary to their advice.
I disagree with their statement.
You disagree that's what they said?
I disagree that that's our process.
So they're lying. That's what you're saying. This is a system that promises homeowners that they are in good hands, that they will watch over them like a good neighbor. And after billions and billions of dollars in premiums are collected and pocketed by these insurance companies, the people who are left holding the bag are the policyholders. And I just want to tell you, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that you are done right by.
Okay, so what we saw there, let me give you a synopsis as far as what had happened. So if you go back, and we'll look back, I'm going to show you a couple of the other videos. There were independent adjusters that worked for insurance companies who were whistleblowers that came forth, just like Hurricane Ian, against companies like Heritage, other companies in Florida. And these individuals were talking about Allstate and State Farm in cases in Georgia and North Carolina, from Helene and Milton. Remember, that caused all the flooding in North Carolina. It also went through Georgia. So these 2 adjusters came forth. They also had people testifying whose homes were damaged, severely damaged, and have not been getting paid by the insurance company for months and months and months. And actually, a couple of them were a couple years. They had people on there that received hardly any payments, and people that had their claims denied somehow. And this was, again, mostly against Allstate and State Farm. All right. You saw a gentleman there with white hair. Fiato was his name. Fiato is the chief claims officer for Allstate. And Hawley, this guy from Missouri, senator, absolutely tore that guy a new rear end and made him look horrible. I'm going to play a little bit of that. But I think I'm most mad about this. I'm not mad that they did this, the insurance companies, because they've always done that. Yes, I'm mad about the fact that people have to get, I guess, fraud committed against them and bring it to the attention of politicians. But the number one thing I'm most mad about is nothing's going to happen. Nothing ever happens. It's all a bunch of talk by both sides, Republicans and Democrats. So the insurance companies just walk all over people. In Florida, the Department of Financial Services and other government agencies actually protect insurance companies. Nothing ever happens to them. All right, so let's listen to some more here.
The earthquake.
This is
Allstate
the
was sued because
Allstate
reports had been changed to indicate
claims
the damage was unrelated
chief
to the
claims
earthquake and
officer.
thus not reimbursable by the homeowner's policy. That was in 1998. Or how about Hurricane Katrina in 2007? In 2007, a federal grand jury found that Allstate had altered adjustment and engineering reports to defraud homeowners and the federal government. Exact same thing that these gentlemen testified to here today. They also found, a judge also found, that Allstate had paid $3 million, 2.8 to be exact, to hire a forensic company that falsified engineering reports. Exact same type of behavior.
If you'll see, I have several videos about these engineers. I tell everybody on my videos quite often, this hits home.
That these gentlemen testified to today. Then there was Superstorm Sandy, where Allstate was accused of engaging in widespread falsifying of engineering reports to benefit insurers. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. What's amazing is it's exactly what these two gentlemen said is still happening in your company. Now, your testimony is that none of this ever happened?
My testimony is that I wasn't involved with that.
Yeah, but you're responsible for it now, and you're here before this
Correct.
committee.
Correct.
So this happened. You acknowledge that this has been a pattern and practice of your company since the 90s?
It's not a pattern in practice today.
What, you changed it? You're saying you rooted this out at some point.
That's not the way we handle claims.
It has been the way you've handled claims historically. We've seen it from the 90s through the 2000s, and then we had today 2 additional witnesses here under oath, and we have multiple whistleblowers in written testimony who say it's exactly the same thing. You haven't changed a lick. We've got your word against everybody else's. Why should we believe you?
Because I'm telling the truth, Senator.
Right. Right, just like you apologized to Miss Miguel. Right? I mean, it's really extraordinary. You're asking us to look at all the evidence and don't believe our lying eyes, right? I mean, just ignore the fact that your company has over and over and over again been sanctioned, lost lawsuits, paid out multi-million-dollar verdicts, all for this exact same thing: falsifying reports, interfering with adjusters' reports, hiring firms to send in false estimates, all to pad your profits. And you're just sitting here saying it never happens. Don't believe it. It's an alternate reality, isn't it?
I don't believe so, no.
On what basis? What world do you live in?
On the basis that I lead this organization every day.
Right, which means you're responsible for it. Which is why I can't believe you wouldn't come in here and take responsibility for what your company is doing. I can't believe you wouldn't turn around and say to Ms. Miguel, we will make this right no matter what. And I can't believe you won't take responsibility for the fact that your company, as we've heard from sworn testimony, is continuing to engage in this behavior. continuing to engage in this behavior, and now is also engaging in retaliation. It's a pattern in practice if I've ever seen one, Ms. Fiato. It's unbelievable. Do you have anything else you'd like to say in defense of Allstate?
It's not our pattern or practice.
We've just seen the record, and it is a hellscape of fraudulent behavior to punish your policyholders, rip off the public, rip off the federal government too, by the way, which you did multiple times in past years when you moved over funding and claims to the federal government, so FEMA would have to pay more, the taxpayer would have to pay more, and you would have to pay less. And I have to tell you, it's worked great for you. I mean, your profits are unbelievable. What do you make?
I'd be happy to discuss that after.
Well, you can tell us. I mean, what do you make a year?
I'm
Your
not-
CEO makes $26 million a year. What do you make?
I'm not comfortable discussing that in this forum.
Why not? I mean, I wouldn't be comfortable either if I represented a company like this.
If
You won't tell us?
I won't.
It's amazing. It's
Whew. Okay, let's take a listen to actually this episode, this little minute long. This happens to be a homeowner who's testifying about her damages and the payments of Allstate.
breezeway that looks to be nearly completely destroyed. You can see some of that roof damage, quite extensive, that you were talking about in your testimony. All of this looks familiar to you, I'm sure.
Yes.
Now, after this first adjuster agrees with you that, yes, there's very significant damage, what did Allstate, when they finally came back with an actual assessment, a real number, what was that number again?
$46,000.
$46,000. So you went to considerable expense on your own. You hired your own independent adjuster to come back out and do all of this over again. And that person, looking at all of this evidence, that person found that the damage was in the neighborhood of what?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, how your independent adjuster, how much did that person estimate the damage was?
$497,000.
$497,000.
All right, so Hawley says you're independent adjuster. He's referring to a public adjuster. Small differences. Sometimes people like Missouri, where he's from, public adjusters aren't as well known as what they are in Florida and Texas and Louisiana and some of these other places. So bravo for her for hiring a public adjuster after Allstate came out. It would have been better to hire at the beginning, is what I always tell people. Better late than never. But you just heard Allstate did the estimate for $46,000, the public adjuster $500,000.
Allstate offered you 40, basically.
Correct.
And you're still waiting for this process to be resolved all this time later. Is that right?
That's right.
Here's a breezeway that looks to be nearly completely destroyed.
All right, I would suggest if you want to see more of those videos, which are interesting and they're actually pretty good, going to Senator Hawley's Twitter or X account, and you can take a look at everything. Question is going to be, is this just a dog and pony show? Will something come out of it? I doubt anything comes out of it. He pointed out in the video that I played you, since 1998, Allstate has been doing this. And it's funny because I find Allstate to be a little bit better. In my videos where I rank insurance companies, Allstate every year, I have good results with them. So my gut tells me they do this when people are not represented. And they do it for people who think that they can just handle a claim themselves. That's my gut reaction, because based on all the people that were testifying and the adjusters, nobody seemed initially to be represented by a public adjuster. So looks like Allstate probably takes advantage of that and takes advantage of homeowners. So this kind of goes hand in hand with all my videos where I tell everybody, watch out for the insurance company. They're good to you wrong. And yes, it's more so Florida, but we're seeing here, this is Georgia, North Carolina. So the way they do business is spreading. Other states have to worry about this. And I know other states are getting worse because I get phone calls from you guys or text messages or emails. Hey, Mike, I got this situation. Hey, can you help me here? Hey, what should I do here? Right? I'm only licensed in Florida, so I can't represent anybody outside of Florida. And I try sometimes when people call to give the best advice. Sometimes it's difficult because the state laws are different. Laws on how insurance companies have to handle claims in every state is different. But there are some general things that kind of remain consistent. So we're going to see what happens, but the moral of this story is, yes, it doesn't matter the year, it doesn't matter the time, it doesn't matter the circumstance. These insurance companies will try and take advantage of you. Doesn't matter how big they are or how small they are. I think this definitely should be an eye-opener for all you homeowners. Get somebody to represent you. I never said this 5-10 years ago. It's been the last 3-4 years. Right from the start, get somebody to help you. So again, my name is Mike Keeler. I'm a licensed public adjuster in Florida. I hope you enjoyed this video highlighting the fraud, corruption, and the way insurance companies treat people like you and like me, homeowners, policyholders. Thank you.